Did you know that if we combine all laptops, desktops and tablets in the world, we get to almost 2 billion devices? That is a lot of devices. But there's also a slight problem. All these devices need to be powered by a powerful enough processor to actually be powerful enough to do anything. Because without a processor, a computer is basically useless. There are two main processor types. You have ARM processors, which are already used by smartphones and tablets and newer Macs, but the processors for normal laptops and desktop PCs, most of them are still on x86, which is another CPU type. But that raises the question, what is actually the difference between x86 and ARM? Many people say that ARM is the future for desktop as well, but is this actually so? If you're new here, hi there, my name's Daniel, and on this channel I try to explain technology in a simple and fun way. So let's get into it. This little green shiny thingy is called a CPU, or a central processing unit. This little device is found in every single laptop, smartphone, tablet, smartwatch, etc. This little thing runs your operating system, like if you use Windows or Linux or macOS or Android or iOS, is all run by the CPU. Now this is a desktop CPU, a pretty old one actually. This is not what you would find in a normal smartphone, but this is a very good example of a CPU. So this thing is responsible for running your operating system and all the apps running on it. For example, your browser, your favorite video game, anything you do on a computer is run by this. What it does on a more technical level is pretty cool. It takes instructions as an input, and based on those instructions, it performs calculations on data. Things like calculate 1 plus 1 or calculate this piece of memory with this piece of memory. And it can do that millions and millions of times per second, which is actually needed to run a modern day computer. If you build your own PC, like this one, this is usually one of the most expensive components. Now, to make the CPU actually useful to do anything, it needs to have some digital 1-0 binary language for it to actually understand what to do, what instructions to execute. The ISA tells us how the CPU is made and how the CPU is designed to understand a given set of instructions. What do we mean with that? Well, a CPU needs to be designed so that it can actually understand a certain language. There are many CPU languages out there. Now, the choice of what ISA to use, so how to design the CPU, that really depends on the costs of how much you want to spend to make the CPU, or how expensive the CPU actually is going to be, or how power efficient the CPU actually is, and the actual use of the computer. And there are many examples of these ISAs out there. For the scope of this video, I'm going to concentrate on two ISAs. One is called x86 and the other one is called ARM. x86 is an ISA made for powerful CPUs, mainly for laptops and PCs, where efficiency is a bit less important and performance is more important. On the other hand, ARM, for example, is more about power efficiency. For example, your phone. You don't want your phone to be plugged into the mains all the time, because that's the point of a mobile phone is to take it with you, or the battery. So power efficiency is pretty important. But actual performance on a phone is not really important. You're not going to DNA sequence on your phone really. But how? One CPU design be better for power efficiency than the other? And why would one design be more performance and more powerful than the other? I think it's time to go a bit deeper into the design of the CPUs. Let's talk about RISC and CISC. Don't worry, if you don't know what that is, I'm going to explain. Now, to actually make a CPU like this, we need to think about how much power it is going to take and how much heat it is going to generate and how much it is going to cost. Now, I got this one for free because this is a very old one. There are, in general, two types of instruction set architectures: RISC and CISC. Well, these sound very interesting and very weird, but I'm going to explain. RISC is an acronym for Reduced Instruction Set Computing, and CISC stands for Complex Instruction Set Computing. As the name suggests, RISC actually has less instructions than CISC. Now, what do I mean with this? With CISC, so complex instruction set or computing, there are many instructions to choose from to actually tell to the CPU. Many complex ones as well. With one complex CISC instruction, you can do way more per instruction than just RISC. On the other hand, RISC has very simple instructions like move or add this or do that, but CISC has more complex instructions, which is an advantage for bigger computers like PCs and laptops, because they need a bit more powerful CPUs and not really for smartphones. But they are not really efficient because usually CISC CPUs are way more complex themselves to actually understand those complex instructions. They are usually also more expensive to make. Now, RISC, on the other hand, is a type of CPU you usually find in smaller devices like phones, smartphones and tablets and other devices that have more emphasis towards efficiency. Because the instructions are simpler, you can also make the CPU simpler and more efficient and cheaper to make. So that's why RISC CPUs are more suited for things like smartphones and tablets and not really for desktops and laptops. Until recently. Since a few years now, there's been a shift in the tech industry going from x86 to ARM. There's a good chance you're watching this on a Mac right now, on a MacBook or a Mac Studio or whatever Mac. Apple has introduced its M chips a few years ago, which are all ARM based instead of x86 based, but still offer amazing performance while keeping temperatures very low, so much so that you don't need any active cooling in a MacBook Air. And the battery of a MacBook lasts very long. It's like eating a banana, small fruit that offers a lot of energy. It started a bit of a trend in the tech industry for other chip manufacturers to actually start making ARM chips now and to actually focus on making ARM chips. It seems like we've reached a point where ARM chips are so advanced now that they are powerful enough to power actual laptops and desktops instead of only smartphones and tablets and other small devices. Another great example is Snapdragon. They are known for making smartphone chips, but since a little while now, but it has successfully launched a laptop chip called the Snapdragon X Elite, and they are performing like pretty much on par with like AMD or Intel for the same device. Microsoft has also made a Windows version for ARM called Windows on ARM, or abbreviated WOA, which is a very interesting shift. But there's a slight issue with totally switching to ARM, because loads and loads of programs are still made for x86. It's going to be a hard time to actually run those on ARM, because you need to translate all those x86 based programs to ARM instructions, which is called emulating. Now, this used to be a very slow thing. You could run software for x86 on an ARM based computer, but it would still be very slow. But thanks to innovation, of course, a lot better. So these days, emulating software is not a big problem anymore. So these days, we can also run x86 based programs on ARM pretty well. So with this interesting shift, the question is, will humanity go to ARM based computers in general? Will humanity go to ARM based computing? Yeah, it is pretty much better for the environment. It is cheaper. It keeps your laptop cool. What do you think? Is this innovation, or will we still be on x86 for a while? What I think is x86 will still be a standard for big PCs like workstation PCs used for movies or scientific stuff for a while still. But as technology improves, I think ARM will be the standard for like laptops and home-based PCs in the near future. Well, at least for laptops. I think maybe for PCs it's a bit maybe x86 is still suitable because you don't really power efficiency is less of a problem on PC because it is plugged into the mains, and a laptop is portable. You have a battery in a laptop, so power efficiency is more important. So maybe ARM-based processors will be the standard in the near future for laptops, at least. That's how I feel like it. According to Adam Conway, which is the writer of this article, link in the description, Adam thinks x86 won't go away anytime in the near future, and something I can agree with. Well, technology is getting a risky turn. Get it? Well then, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. I'm making a whole bunch of videos about varying topics like GPUs and this type of content, but I also do I also did the smartphone review. So let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. I'm also fine with doing gadgets. That would be very fun to do. Well, here is a video about how your smartphone can possibly maybe save your life. Here's another interesting video about NPUs, another very interesting innovation from the last few years. I'll see you in either of these two videos. Subscribe.